Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. And welcome to another rendition of Raiders of the Story. You know, I was sitting at my desk about to figure out how to solve world hunger and cure all known diseases when suddenly this popped in my head. DuckTales! It will never leave, it will never leave! Yes, we all remember the catchy theme song to DuckTales, even though we try God knows how hard not to. But just how well does the show itself hold up? Is it as memorable as the classic tune? Or will it become quickly dated, like, among others? Let's take a look at the first few episodes of DuckTales. If we're gonna look at the opening, we gotta play different music. I still want to keep my brain intact. DuckTales is fine. By the way, if you want a drinking game that'll have you dead in a millisecond, try taking a shot every time you come across a clip that wasn't in the show. Every day that I've been making DuckTales. Danger, watch behind you. There's a stranger out to find you. Every day that I've been making good DuckTales. Woo! DuckTales, woo! Hey! You think Goslin from Darkwing Duck is really Huey in drag? So in episode 1, Don't Give Up the Ship, we start off this celebration of American greed with the money bin of Scrooge McDuck, voiced by Wilbur himself, Alan Young. And I can only assume that he made all this money by betting on Mr. Ed in the horse races and turning him into glue.
Penny for the poor.
They're not worth it.
Gosh, he's just like the character from A Christmas Carol, Fagin. We see that he's late for meeting up with his nephew Donald, who has to leave his boys behind because he's off to the Navy. Yeah, you ever notice that? He's a friggin' sailor! And yet, in all those years, you've never seen him in the stinkin' Navy! He was in the Army a few times, the Boy Scouts, even a Nazi! How the did that happen? But never in the Navy. Give the show credit for finally putting him on a boat. I've never seen a duck so absent from water.
Give me a hug! We're really gonna miss you, Uncle Donald!
So Donald, it appears, is the next in the long line of uncles that keeps abandoning these three parentless waifs. Yeah, how come these boys keep getting passed around from person to person? I mean, where the do their real parents go?
They're on sabbatical.
So Scrooge takes him to his home where his butler Duckworth, who is oddly enough not a duck, spends most of the time looking after them.
As you know, Mr. McDuck put me in charge of you.
Well, whoop-de-doo.
Pray, do not get your knickers in a proverbial twist.
You'd have to be wearing pants in order for that to happen. As expected, the setup is not a favor for anybody, as the boys keep getting into trouble.
I told you, no touching!
We were gonna send that junky old boat to Uncle Donald!
It's a priceless artifact!
But...
until further notice, you are grounded.
Okay, I'll take them being grounded as long as there's no rheumatism.
They're such troublesome little brats. Indubitably, sir. How did I let Donald talk me into taking care of those little beasts?
I told you he didn't want us. Right, let's get out of here.
Quick, let's leave before he has any sudden redeeming change of character.
The worst thing about it is the little nose punches remind me of myself at that age. I've been wrong. I'm going to make it up to them in the morning.
Oh, the anvil of irony! Ow. But the boys notice that someone is sneaking into Scrooge's vault. It's the Beagle Boys, who are trying to steal a model wooden ship. But what's even stranger than that is the person they're stealing it for. It's a character named El Capitan, who I can only describe as McGruff the crime dog if he was a Mexican.
It leads to a sunken treasure, a ship full of oro, gold.
And by the way, if you can't figure out what he's chasing in the show, I'll give you one guess.
Gold, 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 gold.
Boy, this guy's making the Cyclos look like Buddhist monks.
Fool! While you were still learning to spell your name!
But it is in code, without me to interpret it for you mental midgets.
Hey, we prefer the toy mental little people. So the boys sneak in and steal the ship away.
Let's get out of here!
Give me the ship, niños.
Or I'll lie and tame you with a bottle of purple drink. They of course escape and make it to where Scrooge is conducting a TV interview at his candy factory, where no comedic possibilities could possibly occur.
And how do you explain your phenomenal wealth, Mr. McDuck?
Simple. I made it by being smarter than the Smarties and tougher than the Toughies.
I also embezzled Mickey Mouse out of house and home, but that's another story. But the nephews crash in, as do the Beagle Boys, to fight over the ship. This looks like a job for an old man with a cane and 3 constantly abandoned siblings.
Now, boys!
I've got a perfect puzzle for you.
So that wraps up the first episode as we enter episode number 2, Wrong Way and Wrong Way. We see Scrooge's rival named Frank Hart Glumgold. Don't you just love these names? As he gets a call from El Capitan.
Money talks. I listen. Speak.
Mr. Glumgold.
I love this guy's voice. Can you see him doing something normal like ordering a pizza? That's right, and a large pepperoni, and mushrooms the size of my giant novelty mustache!
And how will you be paying for that, sir?
Gold! 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 That's right, I'll be paying with gold card.
Well, if this name doesn't mean anything, then it must be a code. Oh, like the letter A equals a 1. Right. Then the name is really numbers. Double right.
Of course, 13 is M.
1 would be A, 8 would be H, and 5 would be E.
Like latitude and longitude? Triple right.
Just then, Glumgold drops by to make Scrooge a challenge.
Whoever makes the most money from scratch in 2 weeks wins. Whoever loses eats my hat. Deal.
You think this is what Bill Gates and Donald Trump do in their spare time? Except instead of eating his hat, they eat his toupee?
Pack your swim fins, lads. We're going for sunken treasure.
That's where we're going. South America. The tiny country of Wrong Way.
But they then find out that the plane they're flying on has been rigged, as the pilot appears to be nothing more than a robot. Of course, a classic maneuver. But thankfully, they have the Junior Woodchuck's guidebook that shows them how to fly a plane. And, for those who don't know, this is the all-knowing plot device that has the answer for everything. Like Penny's book from Inspector Gadget, or Wilson from Home Improvement, or The Code of the West from Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Oh my god, you watched that? Hey, shut up, there's nothing else on in that time slot. I'm embarrassed for you. Oh, shut up! You shut up! Go ahead and watch Cowboy Cows, or Cow Cows, or Boy Cows, or... I can't believe you actually watched that! Are you done? Never! So they use the book to figure out how to land the plane and end up in Wrong Way, where they go hunting for the treasure. But little do they know that Glumgold is there searching for it too.
He's escaped. Oh, duck pajamas.
And the winner for absolutely strangest curse in the world, Duck Pajamas! What the So they come across a cave that eventually leads to the treasure. The only problem is the water is rising and they can't go back the way they came.
But how are we gonna get all this gold home, Uncle Scrooge?
By helping you earn your Junior Woodchuck seamanship badges.
Wait a minute, they make gold planks? Wait a minute, they make gold hammers? Wait a minute, they made gold friggin' sails? What do they teach in these Junior Woodchucks meetings? Now, children, we're going to teach you how to make a battle cruiser out of asparagus. But Scout Leader, why? I don't know. It's right here in the book next to make golden planks, hammers, and sails for an ancient ship. I don't question it, I just teach it. But Glumgold and El Capitan sneak aboard and try to take over the ship, but end up accidentally sinking it due to their bickering. And since Scrooge still has 1 golden coin left from the treasure, he technically wins. Which means, you know what?
How do you want it? With or without mustard?
They were darn good friends from that day on. Davy sold his furs and then was gone.
So that ends episode 2 as we lead into episode 3, 3 Ducks of the Condor. We find out that Scrooge is not the only one to have that gold coin from the ancient treasure. There's another person who possesses one and might be able to lead him to an even bigger treasure, which means the boys will have to be looked after while Scrooge goes looking for him. This leads to the introduction of Mrs. Beakley and, Webby.
Oh, please, Mr. McDuck. What do you think, Grammy? Oh, they make fun.
I don't know, maybe it's my inner little boy, but I just hate this character. With her precious little bow and her cutie cute dress and those cootie-filled eyes. Boys forever! No girls allowed! I'm never gonna like girls to the day I die! But it turns out they need a pilot as well. Enter Launchpad McQuack, hands down everybody's favorite character.
Don't worry, Mr. McD. If it's got wings, I can crash it.
So the boys are abandoned again. This time not even to a family member, but to the friggin' help.
Your uncle has a 3-day pass while his ship is in Panama.
It turns out Donald has a free pass because I guess the Navy is very lenient towards treasure hunting. So they bring him along for the journey.
What's happening?
It's these freakish mountain winds. I can't control it.
I can't watch.
Me neither.
Oh no! They crashed into Commodore 64 graphics! Get out of there, Donald! Your loading time is atrocious! Okay, so after that lame 8-bit effect, they come across a tribe that apparently honors something very unusual.
Go, son! Go, son! Go, son!
Actually, they're saying gold sun. And in keeping with the cartoon tradition that all natives are, well, stupid, it turns out they honor whoever is holding the coin. So Scrooge finds the guy who's been using it to control these people.
Welcome, fellow sun priest. I am Joaquin Slowly.
Just use the drum on that one. Yeah, it wasn't good enough for the symbol. While Scrooge finds out that the coin was a family heirloom, Launchpad has a hard time figuring out how to fix the plane with the natives.
You anger children of sun. You fly or bye-bye.
Actually, Chief, I don't think I can flap my arms fast enough.
I mean, what do you think I am, a duck? They actually make him fly a giant vulture, which he does surprisingly well. So they help him fix the rest of the plane. Meanwhile, Scrooge trades his coin for half of a map that apparently leads to an even bigger treasure. Just before Joaquin turns the tables.
That intruder was a fake. Do as I say. Destroy the evil ones.
But thankfully they escape, and Joaquin loses his 2 coins over the cliff.
Climb down there, you peasants. I command you to get me my coins. No gold, son. No gold, son.
We have to establish new system of government, not coin-based.
So they drop Donald off, and Scrooge is on his way to find the second half of the map, thus beginning the next episode, Cold Duck.
Shh! Be very, very quiet. We're hunting Beakley.
Der Walkie, I don't sue for copyright infringement.
Ready, tuning fork.
So, in probably one of the strangest plot points in the show, they use a tuning fork to, well, watch. I'm sorry, but how does that work? How does a tuning fork cause a ground-shaking earthquake every time you use it? Wouldn't they be outlawed in singing lessons? But then Launchpad comes over to collect some supplies, and, of course, everybody seems to sneak aboard.
What are you doing on this plane?
Well, I was looking for the boys.
The boys?
Little tattletale.
So apparently they track him down to the Antarctic, where they come across an unhappy customer.
Yay! A walrus!
I'm the walrus.
Stay away from them, you...
It seems the writers have confused a walrus for a bull, a common mistake. And also let us know that Scrooge has been captured by an army of penguins, who also end up grabbing the boys too. Hey, as long as none of them are voiced by Martin Short, I'm good. This leaves Mrs. Beakley, Webby, and a girl penguin to try and rescue them. And this is the episode I always remembered hating because, as you'd predict, it goes totally girl show here.
But how come you didn't say anything before, Skittles?
I didn't know if you'd like me. I don't have any friends back home. That's why I was out on the ice above.
We like you, Skittles.
You must. You just gave me all these beautiful colors.
So, what's so special about that?
Down here, everything's white.
Great, so we have Rainbow Bright, the Get Along Gang, and My Little Penguin. Something better blow up soon! So they dress up Webby like a penguin in order for her to get around easier. They break Scrooge and the others out of jail by, well, what else? Seriously, when did a tuning fork become the BFG? But they're suddenly spotted. So the penguins send their Technodrome igloos, would that be Technogloos? To stop them.
Come on, Mr. Scrooge!
But they manage to get out as well as take the other half of the map with them. The only thing left to do is drop off their little friend.
We can't land, Skittles. We're going to have to parachute you out.
No time to explain how it works, just go! Oh, of course she makes it out fine. Which leads us to our final episode in the story arc, Too Much of a Gold Thing. Here the map leads them to the Quacka Wacka River, a tributary to the Waka Waka Nile, where they land the plane and go looking for the big treasure that's been built up all this time.
After all the trouble I've gone through, I, Scrooge McDuck, deserve this treasure.
We also get introduced to a sporadic new plot device known as gold fever.
I'm afraid, children, that Mr. McDuck is in the clutches of gold fever. It's when you itch for wealth so much, you forget what's important.
Wasn't that sort of his character the whole time? I mean, are they really just noticing now that Scrooge is greedy? You'd think it's just a term, too, but nope. Apparently, it's a real friggin' disease in this world.
How come Uncle Scrooge has that funny twitch?
It's the next symptom of gold fever. The gold fever is getting worse.
Is it the gold fever?
Yes, Webby.
What happened to these guys?
It was gold fever.
Boy, they really hammer this thing in, don't they? There's stages, symptoms, fatal outcomes. This is some heavy-duty. But for something so apparently deadly, it's also so incredibly vague. Couldn't they give more detail for something so fatal? I mean, can somebody in an under 2-minute cameo explain how gold fever really works?
Well, you see, Critic, there are several symptoms of gold fever.
Yes, as research has clearly shown.
Yes, first you develop this uncontrollable itch.
Then the loss of logic.
Cartoony circles around the eyes.
Uncontrollable urge to cry, woohoo, woohoo. The need to lick cows in prom dresses.
The bowel-bashing diarrhea. Thirst for giraffe urine.
The inability to say the word applesauce.
Accompanied by 40 days of projectile vomiting.
Why, thank you, doctors. I'm so much more enlightened.
Oh, we're not doctors.
So they make it to the temple with all the gold, but it turns out that if all the doors are opened, the temple will entrap them there forever. You know, what is it with lost civilizations that want to kill everybody whenever someone finds their They're already dead! What are they gonna use it for?
None of you will be climbing anywhere.
But then suddenly they come across El Capitan!
I've waited 400 years for this.
400 years?
But how did you stay alive for all these years?
Sheer willpower, Nino.
Yeah. Survey says? That's what I thought.
Look! A lake of molten gold!
This is the real treasure of the Golden Sons.
But as Scrooge goes crazy with gold fever, so does El Capitan!
There's more gold down here than in all the world.
No! It's my gold!
And it turns out he too wants the gold at the bottom of the temple!
Here!
Ah!
The floor is collapsing!
Wow, this scene is incredible! They should totally overplay this in the opening credits! So Launchpad comes to save them and the city is buried forever. But that doesn't stop El Capitan from looking for the gold!
No!
The gold is buried under a mountain of dirt.
Fool! I will dig up the gold if it's the last thing I do.
You know, has he ever thought about just getting a job? 400 years and he's never looked for a job. It seems kind of strange.
Welcome back, Uncle Scrooge. Run!
So as the team flies away, we see that old habits really do die hard.
I heard there were gold doubloons off the coast of Java.
Did you say gold?
Here we go again!
Several people almost died because of your greed. So that's the DuckTales story arc. Does it still hold up? Well, not only does it hold up, but actually, it really holds up. I mean, yeah, the story can get silly, of course, but for what it is, it does its job really, really well. The adventures are creative, the characters are memorable, the animation's really top-notch, and even the writing actually can get a few laughs, particularly when it's poking fun of Scrooge's cheapness. In today's world, there'd probably be a lot more pop-cultural references and modern spins, so it's nice to see a show that can be really good and not necessarily rely on that. It was both timeless and entertaining. And as nostalgic shows go, it's safe to say that DuckTales is pure gold! I'm the Nostalgia Critic, guy, remember? Oh hey, a tuning fork!
DuckTales,
The urge to go diving headfirst into a vault full of gold, even though landing on metal that solid would probably kill you. The urge to avenge the violent deaths of your parents by dressing up like a bat.
Or dye your hair green, perhaps. The urge to wear heavy black-rimmed glasses sometimes arises.
I have very poor eyesight.
I'm working on it.
There is the inability to wear pants.
Not everybody needs to wear pants.
Acute alcoholism.
Drinking alcohol with the word gold in the name, even though it tastes disgusting. We're not real doctors.
I have a PhD in engineering. I am absolutely a doctor.
PhD? You call that a doctoral degree?